And I always, when I am in that mode of feeling that things couldn't get worse, I always kind of have I think, okay, where is this taking me? I have a calm that comes over me, and I think things through. And I was trying to say, how could I talk to people about that? What does perspective mean? And my first thought was, let me see how many bear attacks there are in the US and see if bear attacks are, more than COVID-19 deaths. And I thought, well, that's stupid because most of us don't live where bears can eat us, right? So it wouldn't be universal. So I changed and I thought, what's universal? What can we all relate to? How about pedestrians walking on the street? And how many vehicle deaths are there of a vehicle striking and killing an American pedestrian in a year?
Thousands.
It's almost 6,000. Yeah. And we don't freak out about that. We don't even talk about that. Nobody even cares about that unless you were a pedestrian that got hit or you knew one, except for our little kids. We teach our kids to look both ways, but after a while we say, okay, it's, we let it go. So this thing is big. There's no doubt about it. It's scary, no doubt about it. But there's a lot of big and a lot of scary things that we're not freaking out about. So I would just say, give yourself permission not to freak out about this, even though it's 24/7 nonstop news and they're scaring us to death. Absolutely. Because you could live your life that way and be scared about everything and never move along on anything.
Yeah, that's not what we want to be teaching our kids or show, that fear. So if some of you are just tuning in, I'm here with Matt Gersper. He's had a whole litany of experience from healthcare products to investing to tech companies. And he's here sharing his system in times to not panic, but how to have this acronym PANIC in place. And we just went over P for perspective. So those are very, very amazing perspectives of what we're going through is how do we just take back control? So what is the second step?
So PANIC, it's perspective, adapt, nest, invest, and calm. So adapt. I had a hard time getting to this. I came up with perspective and calm right away. And the way I came up with adapt was I was really resisting this whole, I'm going to say what I was thinking, this whole nonsense of the coronavirus. We first started hearing about it and they started thinking, oh, we're going to shut down, whole cities and states. I thought, oh my God, this is such a huge over-exaggeration and overreaction. And so I was resisting it. And what I realized I had to do is not to resist. I had to fully accept the crisis as a temporary solution, listen to what the officials are telling me. If they say stay home, stay home. If they say do A, B, and C, I'll do A, B, and C, and get into it. And so I had to adapt my thinking. I had to adapt my lifestyle, and I'm going to try to stay healthy, eat better. I'm just going to focus a little bit more attention on my health, sleep plenty, exercise, do my meditation, be kind. This is an unprecedented time when we can do something to help others. And that actually, I talked on the opening about if you're worried and fearful, you depress your immune system and weaken it. If you're kind and grateful, you actually support and boost your immune system. And have fun. It's okay to have fun. That's again to perspective. Well, how can you have fun? People are dying. Yes, people were dying before the coronavirus and you were having a blast. So keep perspective and adapt, and adapt not to what others tell you, adapt to you. Adapt based on your perspective and what can you do? What do you want to do in the midst of this situation?
Absolutely.
Then do that.
So for parents at home, how do we adapt to potentially different behaviors, movement, nutrition, and show your children that new perspective? How do you adapt to working at home if you're an entrepreneur or going virtual or online and taking this time to pivot, which a lot of my colleagues and friends are having to do. So just like me, I'm not the tech guy. I've always had a team. It's jumping in and figuring out this is what needs to happen for going forward. I'm adapting past my skills. And now I'm surprised a week into this, I'm more confident than I ever have been on some of these computers. I'm not saying I'm good yet by any means, but I have adapted to how I operate on a daily basis. Any other examples you see families or adjustments going through of adaptations that potentially will serve coming out of this on a higher level?
Yeah, and if we think about adapting, the country is adapting also. And I heard a news story that this whole concept of doing drive-through testing, which we're now implementing, which is a a public-private partnership. It's just brilliant, right? The big retailers said, hey, you can use our parking lots, and the government's sending out, and the medical industry is sending out people to do the testing. And the people who are sick are not exposing themselves to others in hospitals and getting others sick, and they're getting tested and they're getting treatment. And they said this new concept, which we wouldn't have come up with outside of this disaster, this crisis, the news report said this is going to save tens of thousands of lives just from the flu next year. Now that's fantastic.
Great.
So adapting, think about what can you do to adapt, and then how can you, there's one of my favorite words ever is Kaizen. It's a Japanese word that means small incremental improvements add up over time to yield big results. And I've been studying that and practicing that for decades, Jim.
Manufacturing, Lean Six Sigma, all of your background in that.
Yes. Yeah, and applying it to life. And I've added something to it most recently as I got into happy living and talking with others more about these things. It's Kaizen and hold. So adapt, bring some new practice that improves your life in some way, financially, physically, in your home, some way, something new that improves who you are and what you're doing, how you're living this world, and hold on to that. Never give it up. And then you can do another one and never give it up. And all of a sudden you feel this upward momentum in your life, and tragedy and crisis and moments when you're shook to your bones is really an opportunity for us to think about, okay, what can I do better? And if you do those things, and you hold on to them, your life starts to do better.
That makes great sense. So another adaptation, I want to see if this kind of pulls into nesting, is if you're both working from home now, you have children, this is a whole different operating scenario that a lot of friends and family, how to tag team the kids, how to have each person have their workspace and partner. So I'd imagine a lot of adaptations are having to happen at home right now, but at the same time, it's an opportunity. We are at home with our family. For those of us that are working from home, so many are out there in essential businesses still out there, and probably even more scared than I am in the comfort of my own home right now. So tell us more about nesting, your perspective on that.
Yeah, so as I was thinking, well, I needed an in, because I came up, I said, okay, how do I get to panic? So I had some motivation to find an in, and I was thinking about it. And one of the things, we're stuck at home, right? They said stay home, so we're stuck at home. And so how can we flip that and make it something good? And I just know for me, and I think most people feel this way, if I've been, my garage has been, getting more and more and more out of shape over time because I haven't been caring for it, and there's crap everywhere it doesn't belong, and there's leaves have flown in and they haven't been flown out yet, and just my garage kind of looks a mess. Well, those little things weigh on you. And so when you drive into the garage, you say, oh, this looks like crap, and you don't make a big deal about it, but you just, you had this little negative hit. Now, whenever I go out and I correct that, this weekend I cleaned out our hot tub, and I did the best job I've ever done cleaning it. When I clean out my garage or whatever, if I do a project around the house, or if we invest in something and we put a new carpet in our living area, or my wife came up with the idea we've had over time, we've bought lots of these fancy coffee makers that can grind and blend and brew all in one step, and they always get gucked up because you're mixing two things that shouldn't be mixed. And so finally we came up with the idea she did, separate grinder, just a nice normal coffee maker. And when we did that, it feels good. And we enjoy our coffee more, or we enjoy our dining room more because we have a new carpet, or I've invested in Netflix. Never had it before, and we're watching shows. We're bringing entertainment into our space. So all of these things that I can do to improve my nest make me feel good, They improve my living conditions, not just during this crisis, but afterwards. And they distract me. When I'm out there, I got my music on and I've got my gloves and I'm into that hot tub cleaning and scrubbing. I didn't wear gloves, I probably should have. I feel, I'm doing something productive and it feels good. And I'm not thinking about how many people died in Italy.
Absolutely.
For a
That's
moment.
beautiful. You're getting movement, which is part of this foundation. You're clearing energy. Sachin came on yesterday and talked about feng shui and the power of energy in the rooms and space, talking about getting rid of things that we don't need to either give back, donate, or again, have the world's best garage sale when this all clears. So it's just an opportunity to even give the kids involved. What can they do to give one of their toys that they're not using to that next place, so they're not hanging on and hoarding? I'm sure, everybody's probably seen those hoarding shows and everything. Is like right now is the time to clean, get rid of it. Our kids aren't in school in a routine yet. They start next week. So it was like, okay, we're going to have our food schedule. We're going to have our play schedule. We're going to have our cleaning schedule. Yep. The projects, the dusting, the blinds, some of those things that don't get necessarily hit on a regular basis are now making their way into the schedule, again, just to keep us moving and mom sane and them.
Can you imagine if this thing goes on for way too long, which none of us want it to? Let's imagine it goes on for 8, 10, 12 weeks, and we all adopted this nesting philosophy. We would have the cleanest, the most productive, the funnest places to live ever. All of us Americans, we wouldn't want to go out anymore. We want to be home and invite people into our place to entertain there. That's just to be a little bit funny, but it really does. If you do this work, it makes you feel good. It always does. And right now we need to feel good. So nest is number 3.
All right. So to recap, we have perspective, we have adapt, we have nest. What's next?
Invest. Invest. And I've got 3 things to invest in. We just talked about one, invest in your nest. We talked a little bit earlier about investing in the stock market. A part of panicking, everybody's panicking today about the health crisis and the financial crisis. Many people are more distraught about the financial crisis than the health crisis. And so we talked about dollar cost averaging in the stock market. Don't freak out about it. This too shall pass, both of them, the health crisis and the financial crisis. And then the third is, and it was the first one when I first came up with it, is invest in your health. And particularly in this particular crisis, invest in your immune system, in boosting your immune system. And if you just go online and Google investing in your immune system, you're going to see all kinds of natural things that you can do. Vitamin C, well, I've mentioned some of them, exercising, sleeping well, everything that you can think of as, really being healthy, typically boosts your immune system. And there's lots of ways to do it. I happen to be CEO of Third Rock Essentials, as you know, JR, and our founder is just a genius scientist. You met Gary.
Yeah.
Mad, so he's crazy, right? But crazy smart.
Yeah, intelligent.
And his mode of operandi of creating products has several things. First of all, everything that he makes has to come from food-grade edible ingredients, including our sunscreen. So you can literally eat our sunscreen without any health problems at all. And if it washes off your body into the ocean, it feeds the reefs. It doesn't hurt the reefs. So it has to be natural, number one. He kind of not reverse engineers things, but re-engineers them so that there's no bad consequence to it. So for example, we have a silver. Silver is really popular these days as an immune booster. And if you don't know about the medicinal qualities of silver, you can do some research, but for centuries, it's been used medicinally because it has antimicrobial, antibacterial impact. People used to drop it in the milk when milk was delivered so the milk wouldn't spoil, last longer.
The main antibiotic.
Yes. And then big business came along and squashed, many of the natural healing remedies functional medicine and Eastern medicine, all that shrunk during this time of expansion of Western medicine. And now the functional medicine docs, and there's a major resurgence of Eastern medicine and natural healing that's going on, especially in our worlds, our health and wellness worlds. The civilian worlds are late coming to that, but they're coming to it. And lo and behold, silver's making a comeback. And the way silver is making a comeback is in a product called colloidal silver. And what the colloidal silver manufacturers figured out how to do is take larger sizes of silver oxide powder, silver powder, and nano-size it. So make it really, really small particles that they can then submerge into a tonic. And then you can consume that tonic, or they can put it into an ointment, and you can use it as a first aid cream or what have you. But the problem that they have is two of them that I'm learning as I've been in this job. One is it's hard to do that. It's hard, and it takes a lot of energy to do that process of particleizing it. And it takes a long time, it's expensive. And so they have a hard time getting too much silver into their water. So many of them have 10 parts per million, maybe 20 or 30 parts per million of silver. And because the silver is an inorganic compound and we are organic creatures, we can't absorb the silver, and it tends to pass through the body, much like vitamin C and other things do, which means you get some benefit from it, but not as much as you could. So Gary realized that silver was good, but that part wasn't good. We needed to make it an organic compound. So he chelates it with a citric acid in a patented process that he has. And we have the world's only chelated silver oxide, which now is bioabsorbable and bioavailable. It sticks into it holds onto your body longer. If you take it, you get much more benefit, much more bang for the buck. He calls it colloidal silver on steroids. And it's much easier and faster to make. So he knocked out the two big obstructions, and we have the world's best silver. I do want to make a caveat to tell your audience, because I've had two things. There's a study out by the National Institute of Health that a report out by the National Institute of Health that put together several studies that were done, I think, back in 2011, that said, in addition to being antimicrobial, antibacterial, silver has been proven to be antiviral in some instances. And it's talking about the coronavirus, and it's not making the claim that it can help the coronavirus in any way. And there's other studies out there that say silver, colloidal silver, scam, it's snake oil, don't go near it. And I've had many, many people come to me looking for silver, and a couple of people saying, how dare you even talk about silver? And one guy, challenged my morals and everything. He doesn't even know me. So what I would say is, I'm not stating or claiming anything about silver, ours, theirs, or any, preventing or treating any virus, coronavirus or others. What I'm saying is, for me, I'm taking a couple tablespoons of this stuff every day. I had been before the coronavirus when I wasn't feeling good. Now I'm just going to take it just as an extra booster for me. If you don't like silver, find something else. There's lots of things that you can take that's going to be an extra booster for you, and then add it to your other regimens of exercise and eating right and sleeping well and all those other things to invest in your immune system.
Absolutely. And for those of you that follow me, is I would never bring on somebody or something that and give a rave review if I haven't experienced it. And last year at this time, I purchased several of the Third Rock products. So it's very important to me that my kids, because they have gut issues, sun issues, there's certain sunscreens that give them issues. This one does not. This one is one that I feel good at and doesn't have the toxic substances in it. The silver, it's please do your homework and research. This is truly one of the, and again, I won't make claims right now, one of the best natural solutions out there for fighting numerous different opportunities that may arise or what you may contract. But again, I know language is really important right now. So just do your homework, do the research. But my family takes this, and why I love Matt and his company is they seen the fact of the matter that this is an important way to potentially help your immune system. So their company went into extra manufacturing because of the shortage, because of the supplies that immediately went out as this took off, because this is the supercharged product of silvers out there. So I am, again, thankful for you and your company trying to do your best to serve in times where people are looking for natural solutions. So there is opportunity in here. I had one more question on, and maybe this was in there on your, your invest, is I would say invest in your relationships right now too. Just as we had somebody coming on yesterday, Sam Horm talked about how to have non-toxic words to friends, family, our partners, our children. We're good at telling them what to do and tell to listen. So to recap that episode yesterday, go back and listen. I learned so much from it. It's just because the power of words. So investing right now in those relationships is so critical for anybody to get on a same page going forward. So did we miss anything else in the
then calm. So the last one is calm. And we started off the show with it, feeling anxious and scared actually weakens your immune system. Being calm and happy and grateful actually boost it. So if you feel yourself starting to tighten up, really think about that, sit down and meditate or do something that makes you feel good until you get out of it, distract and get out of it. And think about being calm. This maybe goes back to your investing in relationships. If you're calmly handling this, if you're going through this crisis with panic, perspective, adapt, nesting, investing, and calm, think about the role model you can be for your children, for your family, for your community, and think about the opportunity. That's what I'm anxious to see, anxious in a good way, is this is going to create devastation. There's no doubt about it. But what are going to be the good practices, the good benefits, the good changes in our personal lives and in our national lives and maybe in the globe? There's going to be a lot of good comes out of this. So if each of us do our little part, that's going to add to the collective whole of the goodness. And it's going to then make the sacrifice of the loss and the devastations of people, of finances, potentially of companies. At least there will be something for it that we'll get for it.
You're 100% right. I look at the media I believe a lot of the facts, the information, the journalism, the reporting is going to happen in any industry no matter what. But if the media took that calming perspective, meaning everybody's worked up, why are not half the shows right now saying, how do we get healthy? Why aren't they having you on there? Why aren't they having these experts and spending at least as amount of time? Because I understand the other side of sharing the calming, the feel good, the passionate stories. And that's where I want everybody to be aware. When you spend all of your time in the other side versus at least equally, I spend maybe 1/10 of my time in there. And it's really just looking at the numbers or what the government's done for my employees, my doctors, are their states getting shut down? So I'm looking at it as my 10 minutes of information, my 10% time, but I know that I need to get into how to overcome, how to adapt, how to position my family, how to invest in my relationship and my health. And exactly your formula right here is the calming isn't in the media right now.
No, you're 100% right. And you made me think about one of the, you mentioned my book, Turning Inspiration into Action. And I've done a lot of talking and thinking and writing about, how do you improve your life? And in the process of transformation, what I discovered is a lot of big transformational stories that you'll recognize as you look at people who've done these things come from devastation, complete and total devastation. Your child gets lost and murdered, and then you go on this crusade and you completely change your life and you have this new charitable organization that helps that never to happen again. A lot of people in our health and wellness business, they became experts in what they're doing because they had the disease themselves or their family did. So devastation often kills you, but it often also leads to great transformations. And then the flip side, what I've done in my life is, can we use inspiration rather than devastation to transform our lives. And so you're in the midst of the coronavirus, but almost everybody listening to this, hopefully everybody, you don't have it, but you can still use it to transform your life. And then what I was leading to is the single best way to instantly change your life is to stop hanging around people that make you feel bad. It's 100%. It works instantly. And you made me think about it when you're talking about the media. If you're listening to the media and it makes you feel bad, stop listening to it.
Absolutely. Feel that sensation. Learn to listen to your body. I always think with my head, and I'm learning this year to listen to my body, to truly, like you said, stay calm, to breathe, to meditate, to listen to this intuitive being inside of me, to really understand how I feel about a situation, to process it instead of holding on to it, which I did so many years of my life. And because that led to body breakdown or stress or overreactive behaviors versus the calm, soothing wisdom, I want to say the right words, but sometimes that reaction, those come out. I never had bad intentions, but still the wrong things come out at times. So, such an important point is, right now you're not hopefully in an environment where that's toxic internally in your home, but learning how to work through and communicate right now. If not, it's, I hope out of your friends is you have clarity of what you have to do for yourself, for your family, to really get past this, and just please listen to those words. And everybody else has said something that has came on to that nature. Your 5 closest friends, your associations, you got to have the people in your corner if you're going to go do great things or live the life that you want, or to feel that self-love. Maybe you don't even want to change the world, but however, to feel self-love, to feel calm, it's the people that are around you that are going to make a big part of that.
Yep, 100%.
So what would you, if we could wrap this all in a bow, any messages? I want you to make sure, how do people go to Third Rock? Amazing products, so many of them that are great, healthy products for you and your entire family. Their website, where do I get that? So I can make sure to send people your way to look at what you're doing.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to the NIH study so people can look that up and learn for themselves, because I don't want you to take, don't take somebody else's words for it. Learn for yourselves. Our silver that we talked about is in an ointment called Nutrisporin. It's in a spray called Odor Block, and it's in this tonic. And so it's all the same healing ointment or silver, and you can use it 3 ways. And if you go, it's thirdrockessentials.com, 3RD, thirdrockessentials.com. And if you decide to go shop there, at checkout, use promo code Happy Living and you'll get a 20% discount. And the good news is about that discount is it's for life. You can buy it and shop at Third Rock for the rest of your life using that code, and you'll always get the 20% discount. At Happy Living, you can find me at happyliving.com. And there we've got all kinds of content. If you want to turn off the TV and go get inspired, there's all kinds. We have 400 or 500 podcast or blog posts and 2 different kinds of podcasts. One of them is really awesome. JR, we called it Blog Theater. And we had an actor, a friend of mine. He's a playwright. He's really gifted as a writer. And he's also an actor. He does his own solo performances. He's great. And he and I teamed up for a couple years, and he would read one of my blog posts. Maybe if he were around today and we were talking about panic and did a blog post about panic, he would read it, and then he writes a little script, and he does like an 8 to 10 minute theatrical performance about what it means to him.
Oh, that's awesome.
So go listen to some blog theater. It will uplift your spirit for sure, and you'll learn some stuff. And he's very funny. There's a lot of, one of them is, I wrote a post about living with the grace of a stripper. And so he talked about that one. A lot of really good, funny things, but also they let you think about, what can you do to improve your life in different areas of your life. So I'd invite people to take a break and go there.
Just like music right now, that is good stuff for the soul. I see a lot of those videos doing on there. People are following that. They're using that soul. So humor, laughter is definitely a part of that, investing and staying calm and I think that's a great idea. I hadn't heard or known of that. But yes, you also have your big house there on Lake
Yes.
Norman, and a beautiful place. You've catered, you've served different retreats, business connections. Is there a site for that where somebody could potentially rent that during the summer, or have a family
Yep.
reunion or a great business gathering? We
Yep.
absolutely, I had such a fantastic time
Yeah.
there. It was really, really nice.
Well, yes. So Happy Living, there's a happyliving.com. You can see a tab for our lake house. So just click on lake house. That'll get you there. JR, we've just repainted the entire interior
Seen
with
that
some
lime
with some
green.
amazing colors. It's really looking great. And we added another extension to the deck, and we're going to be putting in a pathway all the way down to the lake. So it's getting even better than ever before. It's Happy Living House. So you can look it up at Happy Living. It's on vacation rental. And if you're a friend, and anybody listening is a friend, we offer a 25% discount on just whatever the published rates are. We haven't figured out how to do that automatically. So just send me a note and say, hey, I'm a friend of JR's, or I heard you on the show, or friend of Happy Living, or whatever. And we'll manually get you that discount, whether it's for a personal rental, or maybe you want to come to one of our retreats. Just let me know. You can reach me at matt@happyliving.com. The house is gorgeous. It sleeps 22 people. It can handle a family of 15, 16 easily. A group of friends, 7, 8 friends and couples can come together. It's so much fun. And we named it the Happy Living House because we want the spirit of happiness to just gather in there as more and more people go and use our home.
And it's certainly that. I was in the middle of, I think, about a 40-day road trip from
Right.
East Coast to West Coast, and I was literally running on fumes. I didn't even get to sleep the night over. I took a red eye from Portland right to Charlotte, and was so tired. And it was everything that I needed. It was so relaxed, but still learning it, because I love learning. I could sit and learn all day, but it was everything. I left more refreshed in a weekend learning trip. The food was great, the pontoon, the lake was great, the house, even shuffleboard. I'm really competitive, and Michelle and Keith Norris were kicking butt because I was just kind of chilling a little bit. But normally my instinct would be to compete on a higher level, but it was relaxing. So when I'm not competing and just soaking in the things, and I was competing, I'm just giving a little jokes there. They just crushed us all. So it was a fantastic weekend. I'd love to experience it again. I would love more entrepreneurs that are listening to come on the next one that you have when I have the opportunity to go there again. So thank you, Matt. This was wonderful information. I always love when people can put it in a system that's easier to remember and think about. Simplicity is key to action taking, I believe, in many instances. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll put those links in the blog. A lot of the replays, they're going to go out to the list, in fact, afterwards. So thank you for the valuable gift of your time this morning, and keep spreading the light in these times.
My pleasure. Be well. Be safe, everyone.
Thank you.